Hello, welcome to another English Sparkling with Tweedy video. Wasn't actually planning on filming this because I'm just having Nyetimber yet again, but I realised I'd accidentally left my camera in my bag from my previous outing. I don't actually have my external mic, so the sound is going to have to just rely on the internal mic of the camera. There we go. Just in case something different or interesting emerges, I might film the tasting notes for Nyetimber. It's another hot day. I think we're at about 29 degrees. That heat wave is gradually tailing off, but it's taking its time. I just couldn't be bothered with all the faff of an ice bucket, so I've just brought the ice jacket. This came obviously straight out of the fridge, but it has taken me quite a long time trudging around trying to find a quiet spot because it's a Saturday afternoon. The heath is very busy. You're really going to hear that plane with this microphone. I'm impressed though, the bottle actually right now at least feels pretty cold just from the ice jacket thing. One thing I've said a few times before about Nyetimber, sorry again, you're really hearing that plane, aren't you? One good thing about Nyetimber is I think even if it's not perfectly chilled, it's still really quite drinkable. There's been a couple of times before where I've ended up having a bottle on a train or something, as one does. The chilling setup was very suboptimal, but it's actually still tasted okay. I'll probably always say as well that I think that's sort of a mark of a good sparkling wine, that it doesn't have to be chilled to death to taste palatable. That is what we have. Classic Nyetimber, it's the classic cuvee. I did quickly look up the code on the back. I think this is probably a formulation of Nyetimber I have had before. It's something like 74% 2022 vintage and the rest from earlier reserve vintages. So probably exactly the same blend that I've done a tasting of previously. But here we are anyway. First nose pre-swirl, faint sort of citrusy aroma there. I'm getting a lot out of that though. I've got a feeling that needs a little bit of agitation. Now I'm getting some of the pastry notes and a little bit of apple. Yeah, I mean the classic profile for Nyetimber is lemon pastry. A little bit on the faint side today. Perhaps that's I don't know, some issue of the ambient conditions somehow. On the palate though, lovely. Really surprisingly nicely chilled still, despite these conditions, despite the lack of proper chilling apparatus. What a treat. A day like today, and it's got that great texture of Nyetimber, the great balance. They're really good at balance there, I think. It's a little bit of brioche, pastry-ish sort of autolytic character, and some, mostly I think still lemon and apple fruit character. Good bit of zing, all really nicely integrated and just smart. I picked this up in the John Lewis food hall the other day and it was on special offer again. Very frequent to find this on special offer. It was 30 quid for a bottle, which I think is a bargain for something of this calibre. Always worth looking out for those. If Waitrose aren't doing a special offer, then often Sainsbury's are for a similar sort of price, or perhaps one of the other supermarkets. I don't really tend to shop anywhere else. Can't tell you about Morrison's or Asda if they do decent deals on the SW. I don't know, is there anything more to say there really? I've covered this so many times. Very good as always, and really mostly just pleased it's actually nicely chilled. Cheers. I don't know if this is going to come out, but lovely light through the trees there. Again, I'm probably not doing it justice and you probably can't hear me because I don't have a proper mic set up, but absolutely delightful in the woods. As I may have complained about earlier, it took a whole hour of, it felt like an hour, trudging around the heath to find a quiet spot. I actually already did a circuit around this bit of the woods once. There were more people sitting a bit too uncomfortably close earlier, but by the time I did a second circuit, they had left. Anyway, I'll shut up. Hopefully, for once, the benefit of not having brought a separate microphone means you can just appreciate the sounds of the woods from the slightly better at capturing ambient noise mic on the camera. I don't know if a slightly more wide-angle shot helps to convey a bit more of the sense of how incredibly pleasant this is. I'm really kind of surprised. I was bordering on just giving up and going home earlier. As I said, I've been doing a bit of a circuit around the heath trying to find a quiet spot, and I was struggling a bit, but eventually I just came back to my favourite usual place. It turned out to actually be not too busy, which is amazing. Very, very nice. Sometimes this is Nyetimber. It's lovely as always, but sometimes it is more about the setting and the atmosphere and being in the woods today. Especially, as I say, I was on the brink of just giving up and going home. Also, it just felt a bit too hot. I'm so glad I persevered. Cheers. I suppose that's a form of komorebi there. Nice.